You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take. Protect your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guests. First timer, Steve Ambuehl is with us, the Ambuehl Group. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And Kelli Morris is with us, Council on Aging. Welcome.
Good morning.
Glad to have you with us as well, and we all hope that we get to age a little bit longer. Just a thought there. There's only one alternative, so if you tell me that you don't like getting older, I'm going to tell you there's only one alternative. You probably won't like that one. That'll be like that even less, so think about that for a little while. Let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. As you know, every day on Ron Siegel Radio, we find something to celebrate. Now, I'm going to tell you that I am not a speed demon. So when I looked today and I saw that it was National Roller Coaster Day, yeah, I ain't celebrating that one. But I can tell a very poor joke, so National Tell a Joke Day, I'll accept that one. Again, National Airborne Day, I don't like heights, so we're going to go back to...
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, not good there either. And you know me, I'm a vodka drinker, so it's National Rum Day, so if the bottle looks like the beverage is a little lighter than you might have expected, yeah, you might get a little bit of a surprise there.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Just a thought for you. Hey, if you're looking at the markets this morning, wow. Probably woke up this morning seeing that the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the future, well, when you get up, when you have no life like me, you know, you get up at 4 in the morning, you start getting ready for a radio broadcast, you see the Dow Jones futures because the market's not even opened on the East Coast, and you start celebrating. You say, wow, Walmart looking good. Their stock price was way up this morning. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, now that the market is opened, up 395 points. Yeah, doing good there. Oil, up 37 cents a barrel. I'll look at the bond market in the next segment, as we do all the time. But as you know, anybody can go on that super secret website, google.com, and find out what the markets are doing. The question becomes why the markets are doing. What's causing these things to happen? Well, not just because Walmart had blowout earnings where they up 10%. Not only is it because JCPenney is now on death watch. That's not why the market is going so high. What's really the driver of this, and it's not Turkey either. You know, they're still, the battle's still going on there. All has to do with just a simple statement in China. Yeah, apparently China doesn't like the idea of this tariff war. Apparently they realize they need the United States. Why? Well, it went from taking 6.25 yuan, or for their renminbi and the yuan, whatever you want to call their currency of the day. It took six and a quarter to buy $1. Well, now it's at 7 to buy $1. That means things are getting more expensive there. They don't like that idea. They came back and said, we think that we want to have some discussions with the U.S. Really, once again,
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
They want to have a discussion with the U.S. about getting rid of these tariffs, or dealing with the tariffs, or dealing with the president. So all of a sudden, just that commentary, and we've been telling you this right along. If you've been listening to Ron Siegel Radio on a regular basis, I've told you when the market was going to turn. The market was going to turn as soon as China and these other countries decided that there's a president in the United States that has a backbone. Now, I'm not saying anything about prior presidents and which of them, but they realize now that, something, there might be some changes on the horizon. It may be that there's a little, what's the word? He has integrity there in the sense that, if don't mess around. If we tell you we're going to do something, we're going to do it. All of a sudden, you see that China says, something, we want to have discussions. The market takes a big jump up. What does that mean for you? Well, if you've got a 401k, which many people do, you're probably smiling today. The Dow again at 25,566 as we speak. A little bit of watch right there. We're looking Walmart up 10% right now for the day. I mean, you think about a company the size of Walmart up 10% their valuation in one day. Pretty significant numbers. Oil, we've been talking about that as well, the valuation of oil. Now, I'm not going to get into the cost of gasoline, especially in Taxifornia. We don't want to talk about that at all again today. We did that yesterday, right? But the issue is the markets are excited about these things. There's been a lot of excitement, and the sentiment, consumer sentiment has been very good. Now, what do we see? What is telling us these things? Now, we told you 2 days ago about the retailers being up 4.5%, right? Retail the consumer is 70% of U.S. GDP. Now, we had a 4.1% GDP last quarter. You start seeing retail up 4.5%. Do you think GDP is going up or down when the consumer is 70% of GDP? Yeah, so we're going to probably, and I don't have any inside information here. I just watch the markets on a regular basis. We will probably be seeing another good report coming out on GDP. Now, we did see a couple of different numbers that we should look at today, and I'll talk to you a little bit about some of them now, some of them in the Mortgage Minute. But we did see the Fannie Mae, the mortgage rates came out this morning. Fannie Mae issues those every Thursday morning. They're a little bit dated, especially when you talk about a market that changes every 30 seconds or more frequently than that, right? Because the way Fannie Mae gets their data, like every other government institute, it's late, right? They survey Monday through Wednesday. They report on Thursday. Try and get a loan based on Monday's numbers. It probably is not going to work too well for you. Just a thought for you. Then we look and see what else is happening. Well, we know in the marketplace that the first-time unemployment numbers, right, those are still very, very low. People are not losing jobs. So that's another good area. Now, we still can say there's over 100 million people in the United States that are not participating in the labor force, right? We've got a 67%, 64% labor participation rate, right? So that means there's over 100 million people here that are not participating. Gotta love it when people call you in the middle of a broadcast. Trevor, you know that I'm broadcasting right now. I don't know if you can hear that online. We hear it in the studio. The computers are all not happy with me right now, but we'll continue this conversation. But that's the issue that we see going on right now, right? That is our main issue in the markets is we're looking at there's still a lot of people to come back to work. Once we see that happening, then we're going to start seeing the participation and the jobs, the income numbers will start increasing. That'll be a good sign for us as well. So we're looking for all of those things, but everything right now is pointing in a positive manner, right? If we see everything moving positive, we're going to continue with some of these good numbers. We're going to continue seeing areas where you can make money in the markets. Think about those concepts. Now, we did see again, let me see if I can find the number. Yes, Freddie Mac mortgage market interest rate, 4.53. Down from 4.56. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're the one out there looking to get a new house, if you're looking to consolidate your debt, it probably means a bunch to you. think about some of these numbers, where they're coming from and what we're doing with them. And then, as I share with you on a regular basis, be very, very careful of who you are listening to. Now, I've been telling you this for a long time. You're getting some of these different TV stations, CNBC, and some of the different commentators, Diana Olick, who never ever get the markets correct. So when you listen to their reports, make sure you're not paying a whole lot of attention to them, because we want you to get the right information. I've said this before, the next time Diana Olick gets something on real estate accurate, it will also be her first time of getting it accurate, right? So she's telling everybody that real estate prices are heading down. Well, if she would look at the numbers, she would realize real estate prices are not heading down. What's happening is they're not appreciating at 10% a year anymore. They're appreciating at 5 or 6%. Is that down? I wonder if she would get a 5% raise, if she would call that a decline in her pay. Now, obviously, with her accuracy, I can understand a decline in her pay, but just think about some of these numbers. Get the right information from the right people. See what their history has been. Housing starts, yeah, they're down. Okay, they're down to being a 0.9% increase, much lower than the 8% gain expected. But does that mean they're down? No. We're building 1.16 million units is what the housing starts were in the month of July. There were some negative revisions to June's numbers, but we're still doing well. We're still building a lot of houses. If you remember the numbers that I've shared with you in the past, and they're not Ron Siegel Radio numbers, they're actually numbers that come from the Chapman University School of Economics. They talk about us needing about 1.5 million units new every single year in order just to maintain parity with new housing starts. Well, we're building 1.168. That means we're still short on housing starts. If we're short on housing starts and we need 1.5 million, doesn't that tell you that we're going to have a lot more demand than supply? Supply is not keeping up. Housing permits, a good forward-looking indicator of future starts, rose by 1.5% in July, higher than the expectations. So the building industry realizes that we need more houses. Think about that. Completions, 1.188 million units. That's the numbers there. It's a down 1.7% month over month and 0.08% year over year. So they're not building enough houses for our need. I wonder why Diana Olick can't get this information. Maybe I should send her a copy of this broadcast and she could figure these things out. Now, why are interest rates not going up faster or down faster than they are? Well, the simple answer there is we're in a very, very narrow trading range between the 25-day and the 50-day moving averages. That's what's causing some of these issues. We've got resistance at the 100-day moving average. We had all these averages coming together at the same place. Takes a while to break them all. We'll continue chatting about this and more. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, boy, do we have a lot to cover. We are going to be chatting today about one of the things that drives me crazy the most. Fraud against our seniors. You know, if I had a way, boy, I would, well, I guess I better not say that on radio. There's a lot of things we could say there, but not a good thing. So we're going to talk about that. How do we protect our seniors? Maybe you're not a senior yet. Maybe you want to become one. Maybe you know one. Maybe you love one. So listen in. We'll talk about that. Helping out in our community. All right, we talk about real estate all the time. What happens when the community comes together for a common cause? Talk about that one as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Did you know that banks and credit bureaus are rewarded financially if you have bad credit? And the worse your credit score is, the more money they can make off of you? How does that make you feel, knowing that banks are getting rich off of your hard-earned money? How does it make you feel, knowing that if a bank or a credit bureau makes a mistake on your credit report, they benefit from it and it hurts you? The Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 requires banks and credit bureaus to report only accurate information, and nearly 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. If you're sick and tired of being broke and tired of being robbed by the banks, you owe it to yourself and to your family to call Rondi. Rondi is a FICO-certified credit professional and has helped thousands of people just like you get out of debt and establish great credit. Rondi's number is 855-608-1990. Again, that's 855-608-1990. Or visit creditsanitizer.com. Again, that website is creditsanitizer.com.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Well, welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are many opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message. And as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. When you're ready for that next mortgage, Gold Star has all the programs, all the products for you. And I know that their chief operating officer is in town, so don't let anybody know what I'm about to say. Just between you and me, anybody that he listens to me, call over to the office. Tell them that you heard Ron say on radio that they're going to waive all your lender fees today. Just have a little bit of fun with them. But don't tell them I said that. And just tell them you heard it on radio. We have fun with them. What the heck? It's his money. It's not mine. What's happening in the markets today? The 10-year Treasury up 4 basis points. That is the interest rate. That's at 2.89 now. That affects our seniors mostly, right? They're the ones living on fixed income. The Fannie Mae 30-year bond, generally this is the way it works. The bond is down 11 basis points. Always works. That means interest rates are higher. That's just a mathematic function. But whenever you see that the stock market is up a lot, well, why is that happening? That happens because people are taking money from the bond market. They sell. That means prices go down. And they're putting it into the stock market. That's when the stock prices go up. It's called a flight to quality or flight away from quality. Quality being the U.S. 10-year Treasury and the bond market. That's perceived as being safer than anything else. So just be aware those are the issues. That's why it's happening. I always like to give you the why, because it's easy for anybody that has a computer to go and look and see what the numbers are that I'm sharing with you. Right there, I'm looking right now, Market Watch. They're the ones that I've got on my screen in front of me, telling me what the Dow Jones Industrial Average is doing, up 426 points, and telling me what the rates are doing, what the bond rate is doing, and that's where I get the idea that the 10-year Treasury is at 2.89 as we speak. Now think about this one. If you're in Germany, where do you think you're going to put your money? Do you want to put your money into a German 10-year bond paying 0.32, or would you rather put it in a 10-year Treasury in the United States and get 2.89? Yeah, doesn't take rocket science there to figure that out. That's the Mortgage Minute. Again, brought to you by our friends at Gold Star Mortgage. They're the only ones I know of with the Fast Pass loan approval, allowing your real estate professional to check box J4, no loan contingencies. But let's chat this morning. I love the idea on Fridays, as you know, we spend most of our Fridays, or Thursdays, whatever day of the week it is. I can't even figure that out. No, and I have not had that rum yet this morning. Those of you that were listening in the last segment understand that. If you don't understand it, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, you'll be able to get the replay right there. So I have not had the rum from earlier in the broadcast. Today is Thursday. I understand that. We like to spend a lot of our Thursdays talking about issues dealing with our senior population. So who else better to bring in to talk about our senior population? Kelli Morris is with us, Director of Elder Abuse Prevention Programs and Financial Abuse. You have to have a big card to get all that stuff on here. Look, this is her title. I mean,
quite expensive to print.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to have to write this. Director, Elder Abuse Prevention Program and Financial Abuse Specialist at the Council on Aging, Southern California. Whew. I bet you do cut and paste a lot to get that into things.
I use initials a lot.
Okay. Welcome. So what is the Council on Aging? Let's start right there.
Okay, Council on Aging is a nonprofit organization. They've been around since 1973, and we provide...
Almost older than me.
Almost.
Well, maybe not.
We provide direct services to seniors, and we also serve as a resource. If there's a service we don't provide, we want to make sure that seniors get to that resource so their issues are resolved. Really, our focus is keeping seniors protected, safe, moving forward, living a good quality of life.
And you know something that's unfortunate right now? I see this way too often. I get way too many phone calls about every scam in the world seems to be directed at seniors. Right?
Yeah. They're low-hanging fruit, and what I mean by that is there's a couple of things that make them really good targets. So, for example, most seniors probably have some kind of a nest egg.
Sure.
Right? And if they don't have a nest egg, they at least probably have a check coming in every month.
Right.
Right? Whether it's a pension or Social Security. And then most importantly, seniors were raised in an era where we were taught to be polite.
Sure.
So nowadays we talk about stranger danger. That's what we teach our children, right? Don't talk to strangers. Be safe. Be hypervigilant. When they were coming up and they were growing up, we were taught to be polite. So we answer our doors. We have polite conversation with strangers. We answer our phones, and that's
and they probably don't answer their phones. Anaheim Fraud Unit, right?
Right.
Every once in a while, I'll do that just for fun.
Yeah.
Right? They don't do that.
And the thing is, I try to encourage them just not to answer the phone at all. But the thing is, it's a lifetime of habit. It's really hard to break.
Sure.
And if you're lonely, if you don't really have a family who lives nearby, or maybe you're not a very social person, the more isolated you are, the less socialization that you have, the more likely you are to pick up the phone. And even if you know someone's taking advantage of you, you're probably going to continue those conversations just so you can have that human interaction.
Isn't that a shame?
It really is.
Right? I mean, no, the IRS is not going to be calling you this afternoon. Believe me, that doesn't happen. Right? And the likelihood of your kids being in a jail in Mexico when they don't live, or your grandkids in Mexico and they're not visiting there, probably not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen.
Right? And, don't go down and get that credit card or the debit card for $595
the
to stay.
iTunes gift card.
Yeah, stay right below that limit. Don't do that one either.
Right.
Western Union is not your friend.
Right.
Right? I mean,
Yeah.
and no, you didn't get a big inheritance in Nigeria. That didn't happen either.
Right.
Right? I mean, I hear those like at least once a week.
Right. And the thing is, people, you and I and everyone that I present to when I go out into the community and I do education to tell people what the latest scams are and how to avoid it and what are the warning signs, we all sit and think, that would never happen to me. But let me tell you, it happens to people all the time.
Right.
It happens to people who have their full cognitive abilities, who still manage their own money and live independently. It's just that one trigger, whatever that is on that day, that scammer, they look for your sweet spot. And as a matter of fact, they have what's called a suckers list. So if you start answering your phone, they'll share your information and saying, hey, this person's actually picking up, because if my scam doesn't work, maybe your scam will. And eventually they'll figure out what it is about you, what you're missing in life, and they'll try and fill that void. And the benefit to them is they'll end up with some money, or they'll end up with your identity information so that they can open credit cards, take out a second loan on your home, whatever it is that they're looking to do.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's an epidemic. I'm telling you, it's in California. 11% of all elder financial abuse cases take place here in California. So if you look at that number, we are outpacing the entire nation. I don't know if that's because we have a large concentration of seniors or because we have a large concentration of wealth, but that's what the statistics show us, that we are very much a target, and they're taking advantage of us.
Isn't that amazing? So tell me a little bit of the mission of your programs. Give us, what are you doing there?
Mission of my programs is really to prevent someone from becoming a victim, because once that money's gone, it is very rare that money is ever recovered. People who are taking that money are not in the habit of putting it into a savings account or putting it into the market.
Sure.
In case they need to pay you back, and then they have a little reserve. They're spending it.
Right.
So even if you get someone is prosecuted through the criminal justice system, they may go to jail, but you're not going to get your money back.
But yeah, it makes me feel better, but it doesn't make my account look any better, my bank account.
Yeah, and again, if you are someone who's living on a fixed income and someone wipes out your savings, now you're living on maybe $1,200, $1,700 a month. That doesn't go very far here in California. But so my focus is prevention. The financial abuse specialist team is actually a group of volunteers from a variety of industries. We have Adult Protective Services, the Ombudsman, Department of Justice, local law enforcement, FBI, judges from the Orange County courts, CPAs, bankers, real estate specialists, brokers, title specialists, insurance specialists, securities specialists, and we all get together once a month and we look at really complicated cases of financial abuse that are kind of stuck in the system, and we will give advice on how best to move that case forward. And those cases can be really heart-wrenching.
Sure.
But I get a great deal of satisfaction in helping someone figure out what's the next step. Again, it's not likely we're going to get that person's money back, but at least we're going to stop the abuser, maybe take them out of the system for a little while.
Yeah.
We know that's not permanent. They'll get out.
Yeah, it's a shame we just can't take them out, but then again, that might be a whole different broadcast, and we don't want to talk too much about that.
Well, I'm on the same page about that, but I have to be careful about what I say.
Exactly.
But, yeah, so
that's why I say it, so you guys don't have to.
Right.
Right?
So prevention, being educated, and it's not just seniors, because what you really need, it takes a village, as the saying goes. So you really need people who know seniors and love seniors, have seniors in their lives, to be watching for those red flags. And you have to communicate. You have to be part of a senior's life to know when that stuff is happening.
It's amazing how, I hear it all the time just because of doing a daily radio show, and people think I have more knowledge or access. And the beauty of what I do is I get to speak to people like you all the time, right? And, listen, right? And then for lack of a better word, I regurgitate it, right? Just bring it right back up and share that information. So we want to talk when we come back about what can be done to prevent financial abuse and exploitation. How do we help our community? That's what we want to, and we're going to talk about some other issues in helping our community when we come back as well. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. We're going to also chat a little bit about the housing market, the big difference between 2008 and 2018. Is there any difference at all? Well, we'll talk about that. And why your credit score may suddenly be on the rise. All that and more. You can reach us anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Connect with us, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. On Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details. 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender. Licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Homeowners that are 62 and older are about to find out a great way to live a better retirement. It's called a reverse mortgage, and SLT can help you learn more. Call the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990 right now to receive your free booklet with no obligation. It answers questions like how a reverse mortgage works, how much you qualify for, the ways to receive your money, and more. When you call the experts at Siegel Lending Team today, you'll learn the benefits of a government-insured reverse mortgage, how it will eliminate your monthly mortgage payments, and give you tax-free cash from the equity in your home. Here's the best part. You still own your home. Now is the best time to take control of your retirement. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 to get your free brochure. Call today or visit our website at SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or simply call 800-306-1990.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the real-time real estate segment today, being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. NEST is the quickest way that I've come across to date to find that the properties that are coming on the market. Quickest way I've seen that. I know you can look at Zillow, and I know you can look at all these other these services. Well, if you want old information, that's fine. Go ahead and look at those services. Nest gets you current information the quickest. The housing market, I keep hearing this over and over again. I'm going to say it probably until I turn blue in the face, and that might be sooner rather than later. There is a big difference between 2008 and 2018. There are a lot of people that want to compare the current housing market to the market leading up to the boom and the bust that we experienced a decade ago. They look at price appreciation and conclude we're on a similar trajectory, speeding toward another housing crisis. However, there is a major difference between the two markets. Last decade, while demand was being artificially created by extremely loose lending standards, a tremendous amount of inventory was coming to the market to satisfy that demand. Now, we only had, I lead a lending team. We had two criteria for getting a loan, right? Can you fog a mirror? That was step one. The second step was you are approved. That was it. That was the way the market worked back in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. Things changed, right? So I shared a graph of what's happened in the market at that time. A normal market should have 6 months supply of housing inventory. The number jumped to over 11 months supply leading up to the housing crisis when questionable mortgage practices ceased and demand dried up. There was a glut of inventory on the market which caused prices to drop as there was too much supply, not enough demand. If you can't get a loan in many instances, unless you're one of the 30% that buys for cash, you're not going to be able to buy a house. Today, radically different. There are those who believe that low mortgage rates have created an artificial demand in the current market. They fear that if mortgage rates continue to rise, some of the current demand will dry up. Possible. However, if we look at supply again, we can see that the current supply of homes is well below the norm of 6 months. The bottom line, we will not have a glut of inventory like we did back in 2008. We're holding on to our properties almost double the amount of time that we held on to them in 2008. We used to hold on to them for 6 years. Now we hold on to them for 10 years. So we're not looking at any of those issues. We're not going to see, in my opinion, any kind of a 2000 again. Now, I will tell you there are always market corrections. The change that we saw in 2008 was seen previously in 1929. Now, maybe some of the people that Kelli deals with were around then. You and I probably were not around then in 1929. And what is that, 90 years? We're probably not going to be around for the next one where we see a 40 or 50% change in market values. Just my thoughts. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment. Again, brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. So one of the things, Thursdays, we talk a lot about the senior community. And one of the things that happens also is every once in a while I get a call, or our team gets a call, about somebody in the community that really needs a bit of a hand. And thank goodness we are blessed enough to have a little bit of a megaphone, I refer to this. And we're able to bring information and opportunities and try and help people out. And Steve, I was really thrilled that you and I got a chance to chat right a little bit, and that Jeff called me yesterday, and he's in the same industry as I am. He doesn't do a radio show, but he leads a lending team also. Said, something, we've got a client here that, we want to really promote their property, see if we can get it moved quickly. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you came in to chat about it. So tell me a little bit about this property.
Thank you for having me, Ron. This is actually a 2-bedroom, 2-bath condo in Anaheim Hills, gated community in Viewpoint North. And one of the unique parts about it is it's a completely single level, no steps. So,
I like that. Guys with bad knees like no steps.
You and me.
As well as seniors.
Yeah, as well as seniors, right, exactly.
It's a great property for that. And, just a great community. It's actually at $489.9, the lowest price single level unit in Anaheim Hills. And there are other single level that might be upper level single level, but this is a ground floor single level unit with a large patio, and it's very highly upgraded, and it's a very nice property. Great for seniors and for guys like Ron and I who have bad knees.
And you can tell when you talk about it being a highly upgraded, a former model.
Yes.
So runway model or something like, I got a bad mind here, Steve, but you're probably talking about a model home.
Model home, yes, model home, and had a lot of great upgrades that you normally don't see in those units.
So generally when we hear about model homes, they're going to be near the amenities of a community. Mm-hmm. So is this one near, pool, clubhouse, whatever they have there?
Right near the clubhouse, real close to the pool, and it's just a really good location within the complex. These have one-car attached garages, direct access, and then a carport that's right in front of the unit.
So garage and carport.
Yes.
You get them both. Okay. And it's in Anaheim Hills.
Anaheim Hills.
Nice community. Mm-hmm. Right? We can deal with that. I always love looking at some of the statistics. I'm a numbers guy, so you look at it and all these different things. Pharmacy, gas, medical, coffee, ATM figures, a gym, what the heck is it? Cleaners, grocery store, all within a mile. Movie theater?
Yes, sir.
All within a mile.
Yes.
Now,
close proximity to everything you need.
Well, and some things like a gym that you don't need. Those of you watching me on RonSiegelRadio.tv. Schools in the area, so we've got very, very good schools as well. Mm-hmm. We talked yesterday about people giving up a lot of what the must-haves in real estate as long as they have it for a good school.
Yes.
Right? So here we're looking at Canyon Rim, El Rancho, Canyon High School.
Yes.
Right? So we got some good stuff there. Parks are right nearby, right? So we got 26 parks. I didn't realize there was that many.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed there was 26 either, but that is...
within 10 miles, 26 parks, 1 hiking area, 2 dog parks, and 12 golf courses.
Wow.
All within 20...
I think we better raise the price on that condo.
Yeah, that's all within 10 miles. Right, so 10 miles, you're not even going to be dealing... Heck, some people don't even build up a sweat on their bike in 10 miles. Exactly. Right, I don't build up a sweat in my car in 10 miles unless it's too hot outside and the air conditioner isn't working. Yeah. Right, but looks like a great property.
Yes, it is. It is. And it's just been on the market for approximately 10 days. And in this market, that seems like a long time, but it's not. Similar to what you were talking about, Ron. But it's a great value. And, we're actually going to be holding it open this weekend on Sunday from 12 to 4.
Great. So I might even stop by there Sunday. But I have to see if the boss lets me out at all. But $489,900, so it fits all of the lending limits. So we're dealing FHA veteran. Hey, veterans, no down payment on that. You can move in there for less money than it'll cost you to start a lease. Think about that. So no down payment for the veterans. It fits all the guidelines, right? Look at that. So if you want more information on it, we'll post the data on this property right on the Ron Siegel Radio website. You can check it out. And like I said earlier, don't tell the Gold Star COO, because he's in town right now, don't tell him that I said that Gold Star is going to waive the lending fees if you buy this house. Don't tell him I said that, because he might get upset with me, but something, he'll be going back to Michigan tomorrow. I'll still be here. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, why your credit score may suddenly be on the rise. We'll talk about that. We've got a lot more to cover. We're going to also chat more about getting old, or maybe how to survive being old. One of those issues. Maybe you want to make it to that point. Some people do, some, well, we'll get there as well. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1, on YouTube. Stay tuned. Holy cow, stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Most businesses struggle to get the online reviews they need to get a competitive edge over their competition. Rex is a brand new technology that uses text messages to direct happy clients to your online review sites, Zillow, Google, Facebook, and Yelp, and unhappy clients to a private survey, so businesses can win more customers. Try Rex today by going to www.meetrex.com. Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to reap@ronsiegelradio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rates subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRE NMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message. I do deliver it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Your Credit Matters segment today, being brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report, it's wrong. How do I know that? Well, basically, they're all wrong. I have been looking at credit reports for many decades now, and so far, I'm still waiting. I could be proven incorrect on this, but I have not ever seen a completely accurate credit report. And I'm not talking about perfect score of 850. All I'm talking about is an accurate score, not having the errors. They all have errors. So why would I think that yours doesn't? The answer then is, what do you do about it? You get on the line with CreditSanitizer.com, get information from them, and if you have a real bad credit score, then you might want to talk to one of the specialists that join us on the broadcast. They might be able to give you some counsel on what to do to get your credit score corrected. Now, I'm not going with the idea of all the lies that people use. That's not mine. Well, if it is yours, it is yours. But they got to follow the law. That's the issue. So why have many Americans witnessed a wholesale rise in their credit scores since the new rules went into effect last year, forcing the credit bureaus to remove certain collection items from your credit report? Even better news is you don't have to wait for the rule changes to come to the rescue if you know how to raise your score by yourself. Our nation's consumers have been witnessing a steady stream of changes over the past year that have bumped their scores up little by little in many cases. Told you, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion removed most tax liens and civil judgments from credit files in July of 2017. Then April of this year, the three main credit bureaus took it a step further and decided to remove all tax liens. Does that mean you do not owe them? No. You still owe a tax lien. The federal government's not going to give up if they've got a lien on you or your property, but it may not be showing on your report. Simultaneously, the bureaus have been removing certain collection items from credit reports over the past year under terms of the National Credit Assistance Plan, NCAP, that they agreed to. I don't want to spend the time right now to go into all the details of it. If you want details, give me a call, 800-306-1990. I'll get you the information. We'll see what we can do about getting that credit score corrected. so that you get the value, and you're going to be paying a lot more on a lot of things if you've got errors on your credit report. So let's continue our conversation. Talking this morning, Steve Ambuehl is with us, Ambuehl Group, and Kelli Morris is with us, Council on Aging, Southern California. I would use all the rest of our time, Kelli, if I used all your whole title here. We tried that once in the earlier segment, so if you didn't get it, go back and listen to it. But you try and help out our seniors. Can we just change Director of Helping Seniors?
Sure.
Right?
Works for me.
Yeah, we're doing that in a lot of different areas. So give us a couple of tips on preventing some of these abuses.
Well, as I stated in the earlier part of the show, it's really important to be involved in the lives of seniors because they fall into traps because of isolation and loneliness. So one tip I would give people is to make sure if you're a senior or you have a senior in your life that they have activities to go to, that they have friends, that they know their neighbors. There are a lot of groups in Orange County that are calling themselves villages, where neighbors are actually entering into contracts and agreeing to take care of their aging neighbors. So one person will agree to mow the lawn, another person will agree to do the grocery shopping.
I'll have a drink with them. Does that count?
Yeah, perfect. They love that.
There you go.
Seniors love happy hour just like we do.
Exactly.
Another thing that people can do is help a senior plan, right? I mean, the trap that a lot of people fall into is they end up in a situation where they have to have a family member take over, and then you have kids who live on the East Coast, and the kid who's here maybe is not the most reputable kid, but that's the one who moves into your home and ends up taking care of you, and then that person has some crisis or another, and they're just going to borrow a little bit of money now that they have access to your bank accounts.
Ooh.
And then the intent, I think that most of these situations start with the intent of, I'll pay it back. I'm just going to take the money and then I'll get it back. And then they find themselves in a position where they're unable to repay. So it's very important for people to plan for the time when they're unable to manage their own finances and pick their agent wisely. The child that you pick, if you have 3 kids and there's going to be a squabble about why'd you pick John and not Sue, you need to have that conversation with your family and let them know why you're doing what you're doing. And, if you're afraid to make that decision, find a really good professional fiduciary or a good attorney, someone who you trust and have a good relationship with to take over those responsibilities when you find yourself in a position that you can't take care of those things yourself.
So let me ask you this question. I always find it easiest for me just to reflect on my own situation because I probably am not different than too many other people, right? So I hear a lot from seniors. I want to stay in my house forever. I don't want to move into, they think that a senior community is now the convalescent home that we grew up with where you just go to die. Right?
Yes.
And they're not all that way anymore. Right? So I look at my own situation. Before my mom passed, I used to say to her, Mom, why don't you go get involved in one of these senior communities? Even if you don't move in, but at least you're with seniors. You're not sitting home on the couch waiting for your kids or grandkids to call.
Exactly.
How do you influence them to make that decision that's really in their best interest?
Well, I would say the best way to influence them is to find out what their passions are and find either a senior center or community that has that activity and go with them to that activity.
There you go. Okay.
So they don't feel awkward and go with them time and time again, and then hopefully they will establish some friendships when they attend those events. We actually have a program at the Council on Aging. It's called Reconnect, and it's for seniors who are able to get out into the community but for some reason find themselves a little bit isolated. They're
introverts like me that don't want to go out and meet people.
Perfect, and that's just it. What they'll do is they'll actually assign you a social worker for 12 months who will accompany you to events. They'll find out what you like to do.
That's got to be expensive.
No, it's free. We're a nonprofit. It's a free service, and it's a fabulous, fabulous program. And again, what we find most often, the clients are people who have family members, but their kids are working. And when they're not working, they're running their grandkids around to sporting events and music recitals and you name it. And they realize this is great that I live by my family, but I don't see them as often as I'd like to. So we help them to reconnect to the community and get out, do something. And then the final thing that I really want to talk about is reporting. You know, financial abuse in particular is woefully underreported because people are either embarrassed, they're afraid if they tell their families will think you're not capable of living independently anymore. Off you go up to the quote-unquote convalescent home, right? Or they may be dependent on the person who's abusing them for care, food, bathing,
sure.
Getting them to and from medical appointments. But people need to start to report. If you're a neighbor and you have a senior who lives on your block and they suddenly have a new friend living at their home and it looks suspicious, report it. You can call Adult Protective Services. It's anonymous. They'll go out and investigate. And guess what? If it's a legitimate thing going on, no harm, no foul, but at least you've reported it.
Sure.
It's so important. Only 1 in 25 cases of financial abuse is ever known to authorities.
Wow. So we're going to make sure we get that information posted right on the Ron Siegel Radio Facebook page.
Yes.
Steve, I don't know if we got the address. I know that we talked about the community, but what's the address? I think
it's on Christopher,
7919 East Christopher Court.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Do I have the right one?
Yes, that is correct. It's in V Point North and gated community, but there'll be instructions on how to access the gate on Sunday. And if they have any interest in seeing it sooner, please call me. I'd love to show it. It's something that should sell fairly quickly.
Beautiful. We'll get that information on the Ron Siegel Radio page as well. And as always, I ask one favor of you. Set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We will talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
And older by the minute, my boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day.